In the early hours of a quiet spring morning, Pike County, Ohio, stirred with an unsettling discovery. At precisely 4:12 a.m., a resident stepped outside and was met with an eerie sight. The front door of a neighbor's house stood ajar, its welcoming frame a stark contrast to the rain-drenched night. The lights inside blazed defiantly against the darkness, a silent beacon in the rural stillness where open doors were unheard of and disturbances were rare. This was the home of the Roden family. The scene inside would soon unravel into a chilling narrative that would grip an entire community and echo across the nation. When police officers crossed the threshold, they found 3 members of the Roden family lying lifeless, each having been shot execution-style in the head. The home bore no signs of a struggle, no windows were shattered, no locks broken, and no furniture had been overturned. Everything seemed disturbingly intact, giving the impression of a meticulously orchestrated operation. As law enforcement extended their investigation to nearby properties linked to the Roden family, the magnitude of the tragedy expanded dramatically. Over 4 different locations, 8 members of the Roden family were discovered murdered. Some victims remained in their beds, forever frozen in what should have been a peaceful refuge. One young mother lay still beside her 4-day-old baby, the infant mercifully spared from the violence that surrounded them. The scenes, though gruesome, were marked by an unsettling calmness. Nothing appeared to have been taken. The houses were undisturbed, devoid of the chaos typical of a robbery gone awry. This was no random act, it was a deliberate, premeditated massacre. The geographical spread of the crime scenes across secluded country roads suggested a familiarity with the area, indicating that the perpetrator or perpetrators knew exactly where to go. Investigators quickly deduced that this was not the work of an outsider. Whoever committed these murders had knowledge of the Roden family's routines, their homes, and likely their trust. The absence of forced entry painted a chilling picture. The victims might have willingly opened their doors to their killers, possibly recognizing them as acquaintances or even friends. In a community where generational ties run deep, speculation swirled. Whispers of possible motives danced through Pike County like shadows in the dim light of dawn. Some residents murmured about drug-related activities, a dark undercurrent that had occasionally surfaced in the area. Others pointed to personal disagreements, particularly a heated custody battle involving a young child that linked the Rodens to another local family. This dispute had escalated in the months leading up to the murders. Yet even the most intense family disagreements rarely culminate in such calculated violence. Detectives methodically sifted through evidence, undeterred by the swirling conjecture. They combed through phone records, scrutinized security footage from nearby locations. Meticulously, they pieced together the movements of all involved. The focus remained steadfastly on facts. Ballistics tests revealed that the same type of weapons had likely been used across the different crime scenes. This strengthened the theory of a coordinated attack. The absence of forced entry kept investigators laser-focused on the possibility of a known assailant. As months passed without arrests, the investigation continued with a quiet intensity. Law enforcement officials pursued leads with diligence, testing firearms, tracing digital footprints. They watched the community with careful eyes. Then, a subtle shift in the investigation began to redirect their focus. A particular family, previously only a background presence, began to stand out in stark relief. As investigators delved deeper into this family's connections with the Rodens, new details emerged. These details hinted at motivations that were both personal and profound. The community watched as the investigation began to narrow its gaze. The investigation was far from over, shrouded in layers of complexity and emotion. It was on the brink of unraveling new truths.